Hello everybody and welcome to the video. I'm just going to check if you can see me. Alright, you can see me. This is how it goes when you make videos. I don't have a screen or anything, so I've got to I use my phone. I've got to run behind and see if I was in view when I took that video. Alright, welcome everybody. Welcome to the video. This is all about what I'm calling my shakedown trip in my newly built out van. If you are new here, welcome. If you're not new here, I'm sure you've been following along with me, maybe at least since the beginning of the year. A lot of you came in then when I had a video go a bit wild, and yeah, I have finished building out the van. And when you have something new, it's very common to do what they call a shakedown trip, to iron out any kinks or work out anything that needs to be adjusted or fixed. So I did that. I also really needed to get away. I have spent months and months in the city. When I left the city, I was just working on the van more. So I feel like I have been in van build and working mode for like 6 months, and I needed to get away. And we have a beautiful countryside here in the southwest of Western Australia, and school holidays were coming up, and I had 4 days before they started, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna go see all these places before all the crowds come in and before the weather turns really cold and rainy, which is right around the corner here. We're in autumn. So I did 1,073 kilometers in 4 days. I free camped for 3 nights. I had 1 free hot shower, and I ended up at a caravan park and doing laundry there and everything. But let me run you through. I didn't shoot myself during the video because I really needed a break and time away, but I did take some video of the beautiful scenery so you can see what I mean. I also there were 2 purposes for this trip. One, to get away and see how the van went, and secondly, I have changed over my power station from EcoFlow to Bluetti. So the EcoFlow did not fit in my space. The plugs were on the side, and I needed the plugs to come out the front. I couldn't access the side plugs for a power station that had over 2,000 watt hours in it. So Bluetti reached out to me. They gave me this one to try out, and also the alternator charger, which I'll let you know how that went. And so I want to try out and see how it went. Did I like it in this space? Did I like the functionality of it? And I'm going to let you know how I found that towards the end of the video. So the first night we went to Busselton, beautiful country, coastal town in WA. And I haven't actually been into Busselton for a couple of years. There's this spot on the foreshore where I used to go when I first moved into the van, and it used to be all just sand and gravel road, I think, and I spent a lot of time there under the big pine trees, and that is actually where I first fitted my awning on my own. I pulled up next to a big picnic table so I could stand on that. So I have good memories of there. When I pulled in, I was so surprised at how it's changed. It was all this beautiful green grass. They've put in barbecues. They've extended the walking path all the way along. It was really beautiful. And there was me and one other camper van there. Again, it was about 5:30 at night. And look, I pulled up there for dinner and had a little walk down to the beach with Abby. It's a dog-friendly beach. And it was a really lovely way to start my 4-day trip. So that night I went to a free camping spot about 45 minutes out of Augusta. My plan has been to get to Augusta for probably about a year. I've been saying I'm going to Augusta and I just never got there. Things always happen. So Augusta is right on the sort of southwest point, I guess, of Western Australia. It's on the little bit. I'll show you on the map. So on day 2, I went to Augusta, and I had a lot of work to do. I had gotten really behind in my work with doing everything on the van, and I just parked up on a parking spot on the coast, and I sat there for about 4 or 5 hours, and I had breakfast, I worked, I had lunch. It was so nice. The views were beautiful. It was peaceful and quiet. And I'm like, how good is that? This is my office for the day. I'm so lucky to be able to do what I do. And it was really good. It was everything I imagined it would be. Everything why I remembered why I wanted to go back there. Augusta also has a lighthouse, which I remember my first time going down there in the van and being blown away by like where I was, and there's this lighthouse there to warn people of the land, how it juts out, and there's lots of rocks and everything out there. And I also found this sign, which I didn't realize, about this was basically the first piece of land that was sighted and how they started mapping the coast. Anyway, I took quite a few pictures of the lighthouse and the buildings around it because I wanted to try and use that in my art, which I'm still planning on doing. And I really want to go up the lighthouse. You can do a tour and go in the lighthouse. That day, it wasn't cool enough to be able to leave Abby in the van. She can't go. It wasn't cool enough to leave her in the van. So I accepted that, and I thought, I'm going to come back. When it's cooler, I'm going to come back. I can leave Abby in the van. I really want to go do this lighthouse tour, which I'm planning to do in a couple of weeks. So we had a wonderful day in Augusta, drove around. There's a beautiful drive you can do, and yeah, it's just beautiful there, right on the ocean, and in a town that's very small town. And so not heavily populated, not a lot of civilization, as I call it. It was really lovely. And that night we went back to the same free camp we were at before, because that's only really one way in and out of Augusta. So we went back to that one, and we were going to move on the next day. So the next day, one thing about this free camp is I can't let Abby out because it isn't a national park and it has baits, like the 1080 baits for dogs. So I don't let her out there. Everyone asks me what I do. I'll camp in those places, but I'll pull up in the dark. I've already walked Abby somewhere safe before. I'll go to sleep. In the morning, I get up, I put her in the front seat, and we leave. And look, she's used to that. She knows. She knows. I've done it quite a bit, and it's the only place I could really camp there for free. And so, yeah, she just knows, and I drive to where I can, to where it's safe, and then take her for a walk. So she's really good about that. So the first stop was North Cliff, and we went there, and I did take her for a walk, and I did make a coffee then, and then we kept going on to Pemberton. Pemberton's a beautiful town in the forest, and I sat there and had breakfast in the forest down by their pool. They've got like a natural pool, and it was just lovely. It was just so peaceful and quiet. It would be chaos at the moment with school holidays down there, and it's amazing what difference a couple of days can make. It really is. But again, so relaxing being in the forest with all the trees. When I was heading out of Pemberton, there were emus in the town. I've been to a few towns. Nannup has emus in the town, and Pemberton, I'm driving it and there's emus there. So I got the best video I could. I know some people here aren't from Western Australia, and I think they always question about wildlife. I see a lot of wildlife. I see a lot of emus, kangaroos, echidnas mostly, rabbits, which aren't our native wildlife. But yeah, there's emus just standing there in the grass, having a walk around, eating something. So yeah, it just always blows my mind how, I don't know what the word is, but how these animals in these small towns don't feel threatened, they feel safe. And they come right into the town, and it's obviously worked out well for them. So yeah, it's always really nice to see how we can all cohabitate. I really like that. That's one of the things I like most about these small towns. The wildlife is in the town. I continued then to drive through some beautiful scenery. I find it almost in reverse here, the seasons, because even though we're coming into autumn, which means we're going into colder weather, because of Australia and how it's so dry. Well, in Western Australia, we've just gone through our dry season in the southwest, that it starts to rain and everything comes up green, almost like spring in the northern hemisphere. That's why it feels really weird to me. I keep feeling like I'm in spring, because the grass is this most beautiful yellow green. It's so vibrant, so bright, and there's just fields of it. And it's so beautiful, and all the trees are sprouting again, and the wildflowers will start coming out. So it's a really nice time of year to be driving around. It's been 3 or 4 months of just brown, dry fields, and all of a sudden to see that green coming through, it's very invigorating, you know, it's very revitalizing. You feel everything being reborn. I don't know, it's a really nice feeling to see everything flourishing again. I stopped in one of my favourite towns in Walpole. Now, I only stopped there for lunch and I didn't even make it to walk through the forest, but on this day I was in a real driving mood. I'm like, I just want to keep driving. I was enjoying driving the van a lot. Abby was really enjoying it. We've been sitting still for so long, and it's just a really nice countryside to drive through. So I only stopped there for lunch and then I kept driving. I ended up stopping in a town called Cranbrook, and just outside of the town there is a free kind of road stop camp area. You can stay overnight and they have free hot showers. West Australia is so good for free hot showers. So I was able to stay there. That was my third night, so I hadn't had a shower for 3 nights, and stay there and yeah, have a nice hot shower. And that was our last night kind of on the road. And then I had to then get back to working and things, you know, the stuff that pays the bills. I had to get back to that. You can only put it off for so long. I had a wonderful trip. It was exactly what I needed. I'm really glad I did it. And I learnt a lot. So first of all, the van all held together. My plastic drawers did not open. They might open a little bit, but they don't slide all the way out. There's too much friction on them. They're not on runners. It's just plastic against plastic. And once you put some things in them, they get a bit heavier. They didn't move, so that was really good. I have since done a few modifications, which I'll share with you in the end. But also the power station, I think I went about 7 or 8 days altogether off grid with the power station. So not plugging in, and I never used solar. I used that and the charger. So this new Bluetti power station, it is the Elite 200 version 2, and I have the Charger 1. And the power station is 2,073 watt hours capacity. So this is twice as big as my last power station that I had, and I feel like this is a sweet spot. For the size that I have, the room that I have to fit a power station, and the size of this, I think it's really good. For what I do, I still work online, so for powering my laptop, it powers everything, laptop, fridge, phones, everything is charged from that, and I occasionally have to use Starlink. I think it's a really good size where I can easily survive for several days without having to charge it. It also has, you can use up to 2,600 watts of appliances, so it will power a lot of appliances. It does have a burst one. I have to look that up for you, but I'm really happy with it. Really happy with it. The front facing plugs have been a game changer. So much easier to access, and it has fewer plugs than my EcoFlow, but you know what, I kind of do have all the plugs used at once, but I don't really need any more. So it actually is sufficient. I'm actually really happy with it, and it's really quiet. It's so quiet. It's on eco mode. I don't know if that's why it's so quiet, but it's really quiet. I never ever hear it. I did used to hear the EcoFlow sometimes the fan would come on, but this one I don't hear it. I don't know if it's the time of year because it's slightly cooler, but I never hear it. So with this one you can power up to 7 devices, which I think I've had 6. It's got two 240 volts. It's got 2 USB-C and 2 USB-A, and the 12 volt I use for the fridge. So I think had 6 of the 7 plugged in at once, and again, no problem. It doesn't falter at all. It runs amazing. It also has an app that you can use to control it and to monitor it. And I use that a lot to monitor the power, where it's at with how much power is in there. It gives you a percentage. So I use that a lot, and you can turn the AC DC on and off. So if you have something plugged in that you don't want on at the moment, you can just turn it off on your app, which works really well if I'm driving or something and I forgot to turn something off. I can turn it off on the app, or when I'm driving I can check how much power I have. To actually charge the power station, you can use 240 volt, which I have used, and it charges, I think, in about just over an hour. It will 100% charge, so super fast charging, which, as anyone who's been here before knows, that's what I love. It's so good to be able to charge fast. You can charge it with solar, and you can charge it while you're driving. So you can charge it while you're driving through your cigarette lighter, or you can get the Charger 1, which is fantastic. I'm going to make a statement here, which a lot of people won't agree with, but I'm going to go out there and make it. If you have the alternator charger, I do not think you need solar panels on your roof. Don't come after me. Don't come after me. I've never put solar panels on my roof, and a lot of people have always said I should. But I'm going to tell you, I don't think you do. I drove around for days and days and days with this, and it was fine. It charges, I think, up to about 200 watts while you're driving. And here's why I don't think you need solar panels on your roof, because this will charge when you're driving in sunny weather, in cloudy weather, in rainy weather, at night. It will charge if you're driving at night. Solar panels aren't going to do that. And this is way cheaper than solar panels. So I'm not saying don't get solar panels. I'm saying don't put solar panels on your roof. I recommend you get a solar panel blanket, one that you can stand up, because there's science here. The angle of the rays need to be like 90 degrees. That gives you the most power. Whereas if you have it flat on your roof, you're not getting as much power out of your solar panels as you could do. So I still have my one solar power fold out blanket, which I will be keeping to top up, especially if I'm sitting still and I'm not driving. But that's my statement. If you're doing a van and you're new, I don't think you need solar panels on the roof. I would get the charger instead. All right. I know people aren't going to agree, I know, but that's my opinion. I was like, they just don't need solar panels. Well, especially you can drive at night and charge. Maybe you could do both, but I don't think you need it. Personally, I don't think you need it. So the charger was very, very easy to install. You've got to put a few wires into some screws. You've got two cables that go onto your battery terminals. I will link below the Bluetti video, their official video on how to install the charger. That's what I followed. Very easy, so simple. Yeah, so I highly recommend it. I want to just make one more comment about the power station. It's not light. It is light, but it's 24 kilos, which is around 50 pounds, 53 pounds. So it is heavier because it's got so much more power in it, so much more battery. So just keep that in mind. It's, as you know, I like to say stay strong, and I do like that I can lift that up. So it's only slightly heavier than my 20 kilo water. That would be my 20 litre water jug would be 20 kilos. This is slightly heavier, but this is 2 hands, so it does have some weight to it. But the good thing is it does have a 5-year warranty, but the life cycles that it has, let's just try, it's 6,000 life cycles. It is a lithium iron phosphate battery, so that could last you like 10 years. It'll last a while. I'm very happy with it. I will be doing a follow-up video next month after I've lived with it for a month, to confirm how I feel, especially once I start using Starlink. I'll be going out to the country more and using Starlink, so I'll let you know. People always ask, how long does it last? I've made a video on that. I'll link that below as well, of how long your power station lasts. On my trip, we're going to get back to things I've finished in the van. On my trip, there was a few things that actually the first few weeks in the van, there's a few things that I knew I needed to do. I hadn't 100% finished off. You get to burn out when you're building a van, and you're just like, I need a break. And the little things I'll come back to. So I made a list of all the little things I came back to that I've just sat down and gone through and got them all done. So the first thing is my curtains, which I was kind of working on the last van, but I just never could be bothered to actually do it. But in this one, I've done it, because other van, I'm like, I don't know how long it's going to last. Is it worth the effort? Is it worth the effort? So I think this one's going to last me a while. So for the back curtains, I got these, the clips, and they're held on with the removable tabs, and I just cut a little slit in the curtains, and they stay there forever now. And I had some old shoelaces that I cut them up and glued them on, and I can use that now to tie it up. So that curtain is permanently up there. I used to put it on and off with my clip magnets. I used to put it on and off with these. So now that's permanently up there, and I've had it up there on a really windy day. It's blowing the curtain around, and it stays just fine. So I'm really happy with finally doing that. For the curtain on the sliding door, I was trying really hard to use magnets to get just a curtain on the sliding door, and that wasn't working. It's just the shape and everything. It's too weird. So I do have a curtain with magnets that will just go on the inside here. Now, I still have the living in a bubble window covers, but I use them more when I want insulation. So if it's too hot outside and I don't want the temperature to come in, or if it's too cold outside, I don't want the temperature to come in, or if I want complete block out. So sometimes if I'm staying somewhere like a caravan park and there's someone behind me, I will use that because it's complete block out. I know no one is sitting in. I think with my curtains, if it's at night and the lights on in here, you can still see shadows. I think you see me moving around. So I do use those for complete block out. But other than that, and you know what, it looks nice with the material, it makes it feel homely. So speaking of material, I covered my baskets in material. I had left that to show you in, I think, the last video about the cost of the baskets, and so you could see what I actually bought, but now they're covered up, and I repurposed the material from my old cupboard that used to sit where you are now. I'll show you here. So I took off that material. I had put that on. I just glued it on with fabric glue, and I took it off and I was able to repurpose it on the baskets. And again, that's just glued on with fabric glue. So it looks so much nicer. It looks really nice. Once you get that material on there, it does look really good. So it's all coming together now. It's all looking unified. I don't know what the decorating terms are, but it does look really nice. I like it. So when I'm looking this way, it's all the same material, and when I'm looking this way, it's all the same material, because I couldn't get this one again. But yeah, it's good. I finally made some kind of proper mosquito nets for the front windows. So I had some, originally I had a lady make some for me out of the same material I've used now, but they just deteriorate in the sun and eventually they just started falling apart. So I had this is made from the magnetic door screens that you get. These came from Bunnings. I think my sister actually gave them to me because she bought them for her door and they didn't fit or they didn't use them. So this one I didn't go overboard. I think the first time I made it very complicated. This time I'm just like, okay, I can put this on here. I've used fabric glue to glue it together and it just slips over, and I'll show you here, and they're really good. So I've got 2 of those now. It's mostly mosquitoes at night and bugs at night. They go on the front window. I like to keep my front window cracked open a little bit as much as possible for airflow, just for fresh air. Especially if you're sleeping with a dog that farts a lot. She doesn't fart a lot, but when she does, it's deadly. Cover for back drawers. I always make notes because I can't remember. On the back drawers, I did have a cover on the plastic drawers from the first van build that I took off and made another one out of my thermal and sun-blocking material that I made my divider curtain with. And I had some of that material left, so I had done the other plastic drawers, but I decided to do the white drawers as well, just to try and keep some of the sun off. A lot of my paint supplies are in there and they were getting hot, and I was trying to use them, they were like getting very liquidy. So I'm hoping that will just keep a bit more of the sun and the temperature off of those drawers. And again, I just glue the edges with fabric glue and screw it straight into the plastic. I had to tape down the vinyl from the steps, and I don't think it's worked. I just got some double-sided tape to try and get the vinyl to go around on the side step and on the back step. I'm not sure it's working brilliantly, but I think it's good enough. Some things I just don't obsess over. I don't expect my van to be perfect, and some things aren't even worth my effort. I think it looks fine. It doesn't look terrible. So yeah, I don't think it worked that well. But one of the best things I did, I made a pop-up table. I meant to talk about this. Can I have a sip of my coffee? Hang on. I forgot to talk about this in a video. When I mentioned my counter, I had a lot of people saying that why don't I put an extension on to increase the space. Now, I assumed that people meant an extension folding outwards towards me, but that to me defeated the purpose, because I want to be able to leave stuff on the counter when I'm doing things. And if I had something then, in order to fold it back and get into my drawers and things, I wouldn't be able to do it. But I may have been wrong. People may have been talking about this all along. So what I've done is I've put an extension on the side. Now, I thought about this last time I was in the city, so just before I did my big trip, and I I had this piece of wood left over. It's what they cut off from the original piece of wood for the countertop. And I was thinking, I could put another table here. So I bought the materials, not sure if it was going to work, but hopeful. So I bought the hinge and I bought the tile to cover the vinyl tile, and again to cover it. And you know what? It worked out. I reused some pieces of wood that I took out from the old van. This was holding the drawers in my paint holder in the other van. I reused the pieces of wood. I took them with me, and it works brilliant. It just works brilliant. So I'll show you here how that goes up. And one of the issues though, now I've made more work for myself because I need to move the fridge to get that in. So now I might put the fridge on a slider to make it easier to move out, to put that up. It's not life or death. It's not that hard to move the fridge. The fridge just sits on the floor. It's not screwed in or attached to anything. So yeah, I could move it on sliders. And that's everything. That is my shakedown trip. It's my first review on the Bluetti Elite 200 version 2 and the Charger one, and that is the finishing touches I needed to do for my van, and we're ready to go. I'm ready to road trip. I'm ready to travel. She's looking good. So yeah, now that's everything. All right, that's all I got to say, people. Thank you for watching, and I am going to be back on the road very soon and making more videos for you. Thank you so much, everyone, for all your support. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.